fights for the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion Holland Dolidze, making the division.
What is up? It is Lucky Punch Sports, and today we're going over UFC 307 between Alex Pereira and Khalil Rountree, taking place in Salt Lake City this Saturday. Now, enough talking about it, let's get on with it. The first fight on the main card is a middleweight bout between Roman, the Caucasian Dolidze, and Kevin, the Trailblazer Holland, the number 10 ranked middleweight versus number 15 ranked welterweight, as Kevin Holland has always been bouncing around the bottom of the middleweight and welterweight rankings. But Dolidze is 7-3 coming off a win over Anthony Smith, and Kevin Holland is 13-8-1 with his kung fu style in the UFC as the younger opponent at only 31. And Kevin Holland is the slight favorite here at -175, but this fight entirely lies on Holland. Has he been training hard? Has he adjusted to the elevation? Does he have a real game plan? Holland fights anyone and everyone, but doesn't always win against anyone and everyone. Dolidze is not the main factor here. He's slightly sluggish but has pretty good ground game, but I'm not too impressed with his stand-up with his wild swinging and not great form. Against Anthony Smith, he should have had no trouble, but did not look great at all. Holland is usually a very talented, athletic striker, so if Holland shows up with a great plan to use that reach to land combos, I think he'll make Dolidze look stupid if he can keep him at bay outside of his range. If not, this will be a slugfest between two exhausted strikers throwing wild shots and overhands. I still like Holland here, but don't think he'll be the first one to finish Dolidze. When Holland goes to decision, it's usually because he didn't try to win, and the other man usually ends up with their hands raised. Either way, Holland will hopefully show up, fight hard, and win by a decision by using that long reach and finally make a run up the rankings. And the next fight is a women's bantamweight bout between the number 2 ranked Ketlin Phenomenal Vieira and Kayla Doug Harrison. Kayla Harrison is a PFL fighter new to the UFC, but I'm a big fan of her, and she's a -750 favorite for a reason with a 1-0 record, and her judo is going to be the theme of this fight. Vieira is a proficient grappler, good striking, and can stuff takedowns well, but eventually I think Harrison will overpower her and take her down. Vieira gets too comfortable on her back, and Harrison will love to stay on top and in control of the fight. There's a chance that Harrison gasses out easy with the weight cut she's been pulling off and the elevation, but the odds are a little wild, but Harrison's stand-up will be good enough to outlast Vieira and find a finish on the ground through brute strength, and as Vieira gasses and will get more and more comfortable on the ground. I would predict a finish by submission from Harrison, but could definitely see an easy decision win. And the next fight is a bantamweight fight between the number 10 ranked Jose Jr. Aldo and Mario Bautista, the 11th ranked bantamweight. And Jose Aldo is 1-0 since coming back from his retirement, but 14-7 in the UFC and looking to extend this final win streak as a +150 underdog. Aldo is still the king of Rio. He still has premium boxing skills and is elite at defense on the feet. Using his quick hands and pivoting, he's an incredible boxer even at 38, and I think he'll use the same plan he did in his comeback fight against Martinez, where he looked great in their boxing exchanges and got an easy decision win. Bautista is a little sloppy on the feet, and Aldo can capitalize on small mistakes. And Bautista's 8-2, but Aldo can easily outbox him, defend his attacks, and hand him his first decision loss. I'm predicting the lines will shift a little more come fight night, but right now Aldo at +150 is good money. He looked amazing against Martinez, almost like a prime Aldo, with great body shots, great defensive boxing, and Bautista has to break inside that reach and stay very composed, because Aldo will pick on anything and any opening he sees to win this fight, so I like Aldo's chances by decision a lot. And now the first title fight on the card for the women's bantamweight belt between the champ Raquel Rocky Pennington and the number 1 ranked contender Juliana the Venezuelan vixen Peña, back in the UFC as the plus 155 underdog. And wow, let's be honest, the state of women's bantamweight is not great. After 3 consecutive decisions and a bad fight for the belt against Bueno Silva, Pennington now looks to defend it against Peña, the number 1 ranked bantamweight who hasn't fought in 2 years and hasn't won in 3. Peña is still very talented and was the one who ended Nunes's title reign. Peña beat Nunes in a scrappy fight where she promptly lost the rematch. I expect Pennington to wrestle Peña, who won't be ready or in shape for it. Even in Peña's best wins, she traded shots every exchange at best, so we need to see a primed and ready and aggressive Peña to trade with Pennington. She can land hard shots and hopefully land enough to take a decision win and complete her UFC comeback. She needs to leave everything out there and keep up the pace through all 5 rounds, as losing or dropping rounds in a 5-round fight against Pennington, who will be in better shape and is more ready to defend her belt, will lose her the fight, where Pennington can invite the danger, let Peña attack her. She's the one that needs to complete the comeback and take the belt, so Pennington can test Peña's wrestling, build the title reign, by making Peña the aggressor and putting Peña wherever she wants. Pennington's a slight favorite here, but I like both of their chances.
Pro Glover, falei, Glover, agora eu tô entendendo o jogo, né? Ele falou, pô, eu tô vendo. Pô, então parece que...
And now what you've all been waiting for, the main event for the lightweight belt, Alex Poatan Pereira, the champ, defending his belt against Khalil, the Warhorse, Rountree Jr., the 8th ranked contender, fighting for the light heavyweight belt. Alex is 37 and 8-1 in the UFC on a dominating run, making him the minus 550 favorite to defend it, where Rountree is 9-5-1 but on a great run. This is not as easy of a fight as people will predict. Rountree started out 4-5 in the UFC, but after switching gyms, moving to Thailand and adopting a Muay Thai style, he's been on a 5-0 run with 4 finishes. As Renato Moicano would say, it's like a turtle in a tree. Rountree is very talented and motivated, but is coming off a win over Anthony Smith in a failed drug test that landed him the title shot. Ankalaev aside, Pereira has been running through every division he steps into. Rountree's best win is probably Dustin Jacoby or Anthony Smith. Not the best. Now he gets a real test. You don't need an introduction to Pereira and his UFC run, but his first fight was in 2021, and he's fought 3 times a year since then. He's the biggest star in the sport right now and completely overshadowed Izzy and his legacy. Since running through middleweight and moving to light heavyweight, he's undefeated at 4-0 and is looking to defend the light heavyweight belt once again. He finishes almost every fight he's in with a KO, and combined with the high altitude, I'd predict a fast knockout in this fight. Rountree hasn't been cracked in a while, but it's happened before when he was heavier and a lot younger. He obviously knows about Pereira and that left hook, but he's still going to attempt to close that distance to get his Muay Thai in. Pereira and Rountree aren't prone to shooting takedowns, but I could even see Pereira shooting a takedown, and not because he's scared of Rountree, but to gain momentum and show he can if he needs to or if he's backed up in the fight. I love Rountree's lethal aggression to deal damage and find finishes, but it plays directly into Pereira's strategy. That lead hook, combined with Rountree being a southpaw, means every time Rountree blitzes to get in range, Pereira's gonna have that lead hook to land flush on his head. The elevation will play a range, as I think Rountree knows he won't have gas left to stand for 5 rounds with Pereira, so he's gonna look for an early knockout to shock everybody. Rountree leaves himself open on a lot of his attacks, and even Anthony Smith connected with him a few times. When Alex lands a check hook or a slick counter combo, it might be enough to damage him, like Alex did with Vieira to finish their second fight. We're going to find out how good Rountree's chin is, and I think he's going to die on his shield from a lead hook, trying to blitz in a flurry, rather than sitting back and hiding from it all fight, and definitely losing. So I like Pereira, even at 550, to extend his crazy run up the UFC GOAT leaderboards. So before we get into my picks, just to show the little credibility I do have, my lock of the night, which I guarantee to hit, or if you need something for a parlay, is 12-1, and my main card picks are 43 and 27, but climbing by the event. And now, starting with my picks for the main card, starting at the bottom with Dolidze versus Holland, I'm taking Kevin Holland here. I think we're going to see an improved one with a game plan. He's going to utilize that reach and come out with a decision win over Dolidze. In the second fight, Vieira versus Harrison, I think Harrison will dominate this fight on the ground and find a submission as early as the first round. And then Jose Aldo versus Mario Bautista at bantamweight. I think I'm taking my first underdog of the card in Jose Aldo. I think his boxing is still premium at bantamweight, and he's going to be able to outbox Bautista, land filthy body shots and knees, and take an easy decision win here. And for Pennington and Peña, I was very split about this fight. I think we're going to see a good version of Peña though. Who knows if she will show up, but I think Pennington will land a lot of aggressive strikes, be very aggressive, do a lot of damage, and get a convincing majority decision win. And for the main event, Pereira versus Rountree, I almost want to pick Rountree because I love that Muay Thai base, but I cannot do that. Pereira is so good. I think this will simply be another title defense in Pereira's legacy that a lot of people won't remember unless it is a flashy first round KO. And I think this might be a first round KO. Rountree is going to be aggressive. I'm not saying he's bad enough to get KO'd first round, but with his style, it's a bad matchup. And I think Pereira's just going to outstrike him and knock him out in the second round. And don't forget the prelims too. There's a lot of bangers on this card. OSP, Austin Hubbard, Almeida's been training with Pereira. That will be a great fight. And Stephen Thompson, the Wonder Boy, versus Joaquin Buckley is a banger as the featured prelim. And for the Lucky Punch Award show, we are starting off with the lock of the night, Kayla Doug Harrison. At 750, she's the obvious favorite, but I am a huge fan of her. I've only watched her one UFC fight, but watching her through PFL Bellator, it is incredible. Her judo is incredible. She is so physically strong. I think she's the best bantamweight already, and she has been ever since she signed with the UFC. So I expect Harrison to get an easy submission win here, and I guarantee that as my lock. And the punchline of the night is Jose Aldo, the King of Rio, and his return as the king in the UFC. At 301 in Brazil, he looked incredible against Martinez, and I think it will be a same story against Bautista. His boxing, his defense, his footwork, his pivoting, everything is still incredible, just like he was in his prime. So I think we'll see a very impressive fight from Jose Aldo and another win.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for!
And the punch bull of the night is Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree. This will be a banger. Poetan versus the Warhorse. This will be a great fight no matter what happens. There will be a knockout. They're at elevation. Both guys are not going to shoot. It's going to be a knockout, and it's going to be a slugfest. And I'm excited to see if Pereira can get a fast knockout, prove any doubters that he still has left wrong, and climb up the GOAT rankings. So comment down below your picks, your thoughts on the card. I love talking with you guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to help me on that grind to 1K. See you next time.